Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to Robert Sports Show. I'm your host, Robert. Alright, little wrestling topic video about AEW. Got a couple things I want to kind of give my opinion out there. I think there's 10 guys in the wrestling business, or 10 wrestlers in the business they need to look at bringing in. They've done a great job so far bringing in talent that can go out there and put on a great match. These 10 that I have here are just kind of an addition to that. And no, actually, there's none of these 10 are WWE guys. Talk about titles, what I think they should do for titles, the shows I think they should produce, a couple of them a week, and then a card for the crown titles, kind of championship matches, what that card should kind of look like, in my opinion. I watched the interview online on YouTube with Tony Khan. He's actually going to be one of my favorites. He said he's not going to be really on-the-air personality. Just watching him during this interview and talking about the wrestling business and how he's a fan and how he grew up watching it. And now here he is making all the decisions. And like he even said, he's making the final decisions when it comes to AEW. Obviously, it's financed by himself and his dad. The Khan family owns the Jacksonville Jaguars, which I'm now a Jacksonville Jaguar fan, thanks to Tony Khan. And so it's like just kind of watching, and one of the guy that did the interview was asked Tony Khan, what's your favorite wrestling match of all time? He's like, just one? I can't really do just one. So he starts just talking about, Steamboat, Flair, this one, or this Steamboat, Flair, this match. I'm like, whoa, dude's just pulling stuff that's like, whoa, this guy knows his shit. So then they ask him about the big elephant in the room. We all know CM Punk returned at an indie show in Wisconsin wearing a mask, hit the GTS, and left the ring. Now, do we know for a fact it was CM Punk? Do we? He had a mask on. Other people hit the GTS. Hideo Itami, Kenta, does the GTS. He's the originator of the GTS. So, I mean, there's a lot of rumors out there. I know CM Punk did a Jiu-Jitsu tournament. Who knows if he's going to sign. According to this interview, another thing I read online that Tony Khan had said is the originator, when he first came up with the idea of AEW, the first person he wanted to be part of AEW was obviously CM Punk. He's from Illinois. He's a big Chicago sports guy. He knows how huge Punk is in the pro wrestling business, and he wanted Punk to be the first guy. Obviously, we all know that didn't happen. We all know it was the Young Bucks and Cody and Adam Page and how that all went down at Tokyo Dome with the strike of midnight on January 1. We're 4.5 months into AEW. Never had a show yet. Almost 5 months. It's the end of April. Haven't had a show yet. AEW is one of the most talked about companies in the business, which is great. It's just another avenue to watch professional wrestling. And for me right now, I've watched more professional wrestling so far in 2018 than I think I have ever. It's so readily available with streaming apps and online and YouTube. And, you can go and watch MLW on YouTube. You can watch MLW on Pursuit TV. You can watch Progress Wrestling on their app. You can watch AEW on the Progress app. You can watch on High Spots. You can watch all this. I've watched 30 different wrestling companies this year. Some of the greatest wrestling I've ever seen. So I think adding AEW to that here in, less than a month away at Double or Nothing is going to be great. So what I want to see them do, and Tony Khan had mentioned this in the interview, about they're not going to really have a house show program. They're going to do a few shows a week and kind of let their talent have more time at home and more time out of the ring. And you notice how WWE, a lot of their guys are on the road 300 days a year. They talk about this in interviews. They wrestle so much. Number one, your body's not going to heal. You're going to be sore. You're going to be burnt out. If you think about it, just a normal job that people work. You work, 100 days straight. Done it. I worked 110 days straight at one point. Yeah, I was so burnt out at the end of that I was making mistakes on paperwork, and I just wasn't mentally into it. I can see WWE wrestlers going through this as well. Is they're not as sharp. The moves aren't as explosive because they're just tired. So a place where these guys can just wrestle less they're going to put on better matches. So my concept would be, obviously the pay-per-views, we all know we're going to do that, is not start out with, not try to mock WWE, not try to be WCW, which a lot of people think AEW is trying to be. They're not. Even Tony Khan said that. We've seen what WCW did and failed at. We're not going to do that. It's taking, I know it is technically WWE, an NXT route. Look what NXT does. They do 5 shows a year, pay-per-views, takeovers. They have a 1-hour weekly show. Look how good that fucking product is. I mean, obviously, if you want to build a company to rival WWE someday, you're going to need to do a little bit more than that. So what I would suggest is, for right now, 6 to 8 shows a year, big pay-per-views. Maybe 9. You don't have to do 12. Do 9. Build time up for them. Have 2 shows a week. Have your Tuesday Night Dynamite, which I love, live. Say you have it live in St. Louis. Tuesday Night Dynamite live in St. Louis. Have a Saturday Night Explosive. I know it's kind of a stupid name, but have a Saturday night show. You know, if you get TBS or Turner, or one of the Turner stations, TNT or TBS, see if they'll give you time on a Saturday night to do a second show taped. So you do your live show Tuesday, say in St. Louis. You drive to Memphis or Chicago or Kansas City. The next day, you do a show that's taped there on Saturday. Bam! You get 2 shows a week. Your wrestlers are working those 2 days. They have time off, time to heal. Let them go do other indie shows if they want. I mean, I'd be able to go with that. Obviously, you have it written in their contract. If I want to go wrestle for New Japan, I can. But also have it written in that contract. If I get hurt from doing a wrestling match in New Japan and I can't fulfill my contract with AEW, and then whatever happens, happens. Have 4 titles. You don't need to have, at the beginning here, 40 million titles. Have 4 titles. Have a world title. I say have a TV title. I like the TV title in WCW. I like that kind of mid-card title. I mean, you don't want to call it Intercontinental or US. I mean, you can call it an American title, a pure title. You know, kind of like the X title. You don't want to call it a cruiserweight title. That's why I say, you know, like a mid-card, like MLW has a what's it called, middleweight title. You kind of want a title to kind of give people to kind of boost them up, kind of a X type, I'd say TV title. Men's tag titles, then a women's title. Now, as you build a company up, 5, 10, 15 years down the road, and you are competing with WWE, and you are kind of that well known, maybe add another kind of upper, like an Intercontinental US kind of title. Maybe add a women's tag title or cruiserweight, something like that. But for right now, 4 titles, that's it. Now, the guys that I would bring in, the 10 wrestlers that I see as I've watched wrestling this year that I think would be a great addition to AEW. A guy named Richard Holiday. He's in MLW right now, Major League Wrestling. He's actually in a faction with a guy named Alexander Hammerstone, which is on my list as well, and MJF, who's already signed. They got this dynasty faction going on. This Richard Holiday is kind of this, from a wrestling fan watching him, talented. He's got the look. He's got the charisma. I think he'd be a great guy that you could build up with an MJF and a little faction with that Alexander Hammerstone, who to me looks like a young Chris Jericho in the face, but he's kind of built like a young Batista. Next guy, who's a couple guys out of GCW, Isaiah Valquez. I've seen him in GCW and a few other companies. Young, talented guy who's got some charisma. Orange Cassidy out of GCW. Very cocky, very, I'm better than you kind of attitude. I think he's a good wrestler in the ring. He can build up. He can be somebody. Somebody that they already actually have part of Double or Nothing, Brian Pillman Jr. I think he's talented. If you know who his dad is, Brian Pillman, and you've seen his dad wrestle, dude looks just like his dad. And it's like kind of canny how much he looks like him. He wrestles like him too. He's part of the Hart Foundation in MLW, which you could definitely look at Teddy Hart or even D.H. Smith or somebody. But Brian Pillman Jr., he could be a guy down the line to be really good. Another guy who wrestles in Evolve and Wrestle Pro, his name is John Silver. He's kind of, to me, he's a more athletic version of kind of a cross between Rhino and Tony Nese. So he's kind of short, stocky, but muscles. Very talented in the ring. He's been part of Evolve and Wrestle Pro. On the women's side, Allison Kay. She's wrestled for Shine Evolve here lately. She's been in Impact. She's been part of the Mae Young Classic. She's a very talented women's wrestler who, when you see her, it's like, her name was Serena in Impact. You know who she is. It's like, oh, I know her. She's a good wrestler. She can add just a little more veteranness to the women's side of AEW. I'm a Lucha Libre fan. So yeah, Ray Horace from MLW, OTT, AA+, PWG, Lucha Underground. Ray Horace, masked wrestler out of Mexico, which kind of fits in what they're doing. They have that agreement with AAA, mixed talent, running talent with AAA and stuff out of Mexico. Carl Fredericks, he's probably going to be on the list of maybe not be able to get. He's part of New Japan. He's coming out of the LA dojo for New Japan. He's been wrestling in Ring of Honor for a little bit, and a little bit in the New Japan shows that were in the U.S. In the new beginning. Obviously, with the visa issues, they couldn't get the normal Japan talent, so they brought him from the dojo. Talented guy, young, has the look, could be something great. Now, we're going a little young, he's got the look. You can create the talent. As long as you got the heart and the look, then you can do something with it. His name is Jordan Clearwater. He's out of Championship Wrestling from Hollywood. If you've never seen this company, Championship Wrestling from Hollywood. They're on Fight TV free. Their weekly episodes are. Some of the guys that I've seen there that have made a name for themselves, they have a working relationship with NWA. So Nick Aldis has been on there with the NWA title. Willie Mack, Scorpio Sky, he's been on there. So, I mean, they have some good talent. This kid, young, I mean, he looks like he's 18 or 19. Looks like a young Austin Theory kind of guy. So, and those are other guys that you got to realize WWE is going to try to pick up everybody they can, just so AEW doesn't get them. Now, again, like I said, nobody from WWE on this list. Obviously, we know there are people leaving WWE. We all know Dean Ambrose has left WWE. Would that be an option? I think it would be. It's going to bring in that main event talent, and kind of emulate. Okay, they got don't sign everybody that leaves WWE. But if they work for your roster side of a Dean Ambrose, a Sasha Banks, Luke Harper's talked about leaving. Nobody won't give him his release. Revival, they talked about leaving. So people like this that would make sense bring in. If it's not going to make sense, don't bring him in. TJP, really? I mean, yeah, it's a talented guy who he's cruiserweight. You have a lot of that already. You don't need somebody like that. There's some guys from the UK that I'd like to see come to the United States and wrestle. Some of my favorites, actually. Matter of fact, all three of these guys are my three favorites in the UK. Chris Brooks in CCK. He's done a lot in Progress and Defiant and Red Pro. Chris Ridgway. Oh my God. He's freaking awesome. He had a match against Walter in Progress. He's one of my favorites over there. A guy that's kind of the same along the line. Yeah, he's a kind of a Lucha Libre style. His name is El Phantasmo. But he's got a little bit of charisma to him. He's supposedly going to be part of the Super Juniors tournament in New Japan. So it's going to be great to see. Maybe in Hello, and whatever his name is. Angelico. Another one of those kind of Lucha Libre styles, guys out of Mexico that's over in the UK. So, without bringing those guys in based on the current roster they have, I kind of put together what I would like to see as their first shows when they start crowning titles. So we all know what Double or Nothing is. We all know what is that, Fight or Feast. After show's already started, getting some matches set up for it. This would be, okay, we're going to crown our titles, here's our main show. I'm going to have 8 matches, 3-hour show. First match we have Brandon Cutler versus Darby Allin. I think that'd be a good little match. Brandon Cutler, he's another one from Championship Wrestling from Hollywood. So, he's one of those guys that I can see down the line, WWE going, ooh, ooh, I like this guy, I'm going to try to overpay and get him. I think that's what you're going to run into over the next 5 years. Is these guys going to start becoming something in AEW? WWE is going to be like, ooh, like sharks in the water, trying to outbid and get them. Which is going to work sometimes, but it's also going to backfire because you're going to have people getting pushed over in WWE that be like, fuck you, I'm going to AEW. I don't think you'll have the drastic we did in WWE, WCW, people moving around, but I think eventually within 5, 6 years, 7 years, 10 years, you're going to have those people that are leaving AEW going to WWE and vice versa. Next match on this card would be a triple threat women's match. Bea Priestley versus Ali versus Penelope Ford. Then the next match we would have Seema out of Oriental Wrestling Entertainment versus Dustin Rhodes, Goldust. He's part of this. Next match we have Jimmy Havoc versus Peter Avalon. Kind of a clash in styles there. And then the first title match would be the AEW tag titles. We'd have a triple threat. We would have SCU, Scorpio Sky and Frankie Kazarian versus the Lucha Brothers versus the Young Bucks. We would have SCU being the first ever tag team champions for AEW. Next up, women's title. For the women's title, we have a one-on-one match. We have Kaylee Ray versus Dr. Britt Baker. I would have Kaylee Ray as my first AEW women's champion. Next up, for the TV title, we have a fatal four-way elimination match. We have Sammy Guevara versus Kip Sabian versus Joey Janela versus Michael J. Freeman, MJF. I have Sammy Guevara as my first television champion. Have him feuding with all three of these guys, actually, for that TV title. And then for the world title, in a main event, we would have a six-way ladder match. Cody versus Adam Page versus Chris Jericho versus Kenny Omega versus Christopher Daniels versus Pac. Bam. Six-way ladder match for the title with Adam Page becoming the first AEW World Champion. The one thing I don't want AEW to do, which I don't think after watching the interview with Tony Khan, this is something they're going to want to do or even need to do, is have the Young Bucks as your tag champions, Brandy Rhodes as your women's champion, Omega as your TV champion or mid-card champion, and Cody as your world champion. You don't need to put all your executive vice presidents as champion. Let them be a part of it. Let them have matches, but don't let them basically take it over. Let them just be there. You know, maybe put a title on them once in a while to kind of give a little prestige to it. But so everything that I'm hearing so far with AEW, I'm all in with. Get it all in. You will see a preview of Double or Nothing here on Robert Sports Show. You will see a review of Double or Nothing here on Robert Sports Show. Definitely will be following that. Maybe a couple topic videos between now and then. So yeah, if you got any comments, you like or dislike what I said, please hit the like button. Please comment below. Make sure you check me out on Twitter at Rob Sports Show. So yeah, if there's any other videos you want me to give my opinion on, please comment below, message me, etc., etc. Just a pro wrestling fan who wants my opinion out there kind of deal. So if you've never seen Robert Sports Show until now, this is your first video, welcome. Where the fuck you been? Kind of play off one of my favorite movies, Ocean's 11. Anyway, so yeah, definitely I do previews, reviews, I do topics, I do NFL, college football, NASCAR, so etc. here on Robert Sports Show. Make sure you check me out. Make sure you hit the subscribe button on YouTube. Make sure you follow me on Twitter. So yeah, well, that's going to wrap up another edition of Robert Sports Show. We had a little AEW topic video, kind of where I think AEW needs to go. One more thing added to that. People, slow your roll. They are not competition to WWE yet. Will they be? We don't know. Will they be a top tier wrestling company? Will they be the number 2 wrestling company in the United States? More than likely, yes. Will they be top 3 or 4 wrestling companies in the world? More than likely, yes. We're not there yet. We are not a year or 2 years away. We are 4 to 5, 6, 7 years away from even competing with WWE. Will we have the Monday Night Wars again? Possibly. That's 10 years down the road. I wouldn't even try it for at least 5 to 6 years. Then even when WCW did it in 95, or see, 96 was the first year of Nitro, if I remember correctly, it took a few years for the wars to start. So don't even expect that for 5 years. Don't even expect AEW to be the number 2 wrestling company in the world for a year. I'm not expecting anything big until next year, to 2020. I know Tony Khan said there's going to be some big surprises at Double or Nothing. My guess is going to be somebody talent, like a Dean Ambrose or somebody like that. I think, or CM Punk possibly. I'm going to say it's more like an Ambrose or somebody like that. So John Moxley, look for that. But that's going to be it. We're going to wrap this up. We're going to get out of here. As always, thanks for watching Rubber Sports Show, and don't just have a great day. Have a spiffy day. Rubber Sports Show, your YouTube leader, sports channel content. Rubber Sports Show, always filmed in front of a live studio audience. Every one of the videos on Rubber Sports Show have been filmed right with my little puppy dog present.